How's it going? Welcome back. I know it's been a couple years. I just wanted to give a real quick, I guess, kind of recap or little story. I took a couple years off. In fact, the whole first year, I took off completely. I was just working. Um, as some of you know, I'm a single dad, and so I've got these two little kids. I got two under 10, and man, there is just a good time. They're only little once, and thankfully I'm not doing it by myself. I've got a whole village because, those of you with kids know that it takes a whole village, and I've got two energetic, but very, very loving and very happy little kids. So I'm very blessed to be able to have a really good support system, both from my family and from my late wife's family. So yeah, the whole first year I just took off and was just being a dad and working and having a good time with the kids. And 2024, I got back to racing. The last time you saw me, I had the little Eclipse project going on. This one. And it's gone. And I'm not heartbroken about it. I do love those DSMs. First and second gens will always have a very special place in my heart. And maybe we had seen or shown you the C10. Well, that's also gone too. In fact, all of my extra projects, cars, trucks, everything is gone. I got rid of all of it and acquired some different ones. So after the Eclipse went away, I sold it to a young kid up in Montana was looking for a clean, rust-free shell, and that's pretty much what it was. I sold to him with everything but the engine, so I kept the engine. And the reason why is because of this. It's Mighty Max. It's an 87 two-wheel drive auto. This one had the 4G63B, the carb-rated, single overhead cam with an automatic, and it's still fine. But I fell in love with it. I bought it from a co-worker of mine early 2024, March, April, around there. It's got super low miles and just clean and straight as can be. And me being a mini truck guy, and I've always been a mini truck guy, I had to have it. So the engine from the Eclipse is going to go in there, and it's a dual overhead cam 7-bolt instead of the 6-bolt. So there's a few things that's a little bit different, especially where it's going to be longitudinally mounted instead of transverse. But still going to be turbocharged, still have all the AM controls, all the good stuff. Plan is to have it around 400 wheel horsepower, which I think would be absolutely a riot in it. And I think down the road, I'll probably end up selling it after I get it done. But that's on the back burner. That same spring of 2024, I partnered up with my good buddy Steven to co-drive his Miata, this one. And we decided we wanted to go SCCA autocross racing on a huge scale. So our very first event we had a shakedown in March of 24 with the Snake River region over in Boise. And right off the bat, both of us finished with podium finishes, second and third place finishes, and that was going to be kind of the telltale for the whole season. I would tail Steven in his own car every race, every event, weekend, all season long. But I had a blast because I was very new to it. I had always had front wheel drive cars, whether it was the Altima or the Eclipse or whatever I had, it was always front wheel drive cars. So moving into a small rear engine, or sorry, front engine rear wheel drive manual platform was actually kind of tricky. And I've had rear wheel drive manual cars before, but I've never autocrossed them. That's always been drag racing stuff. And it is a huge, huge difference, especially with the way that everything understeers and oversteers now. And I mean, the turn in on these cars, I mean, they are rockets. They're so underpowered that you can just stay in the throttle, and all you got to do is just get that back in and dance a little bit. And unfortunately, I did figure out how to understeer Miata a few times. So just due to lack of experience, mainly was the reason why I was behind Steven all year. And that's, I had a blast. So we went to Winnemucca after then, and had a few local events too with the Eastern Idaho region of the SCCA, and even went to Top Gun in Helena, Montana, where I actually secured a third place trophy, and I thought I had it sitting out. Well, also during that spring, I guess almost summertime, around May, I bought a new tow rig because that Suburban that we were using worked good, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. So I got into this truck and I bought this Camaro. And the very first day I had it, I blew it up. Blew the guts right out of that rear end. It happens. Actually, wasn't even driving hard. I had one hard launch earlier in the day that probably broke some teeth or cracked them, and it just took all the teeth right off the ring and pinion. Just the worst part is I was actually on a date and I had to have my buddy come pick me up and my date up to go pick up my Suburban and the trailer to get the Camaro loaded up on it and get it off the side of the highway. Luckily, it was just the on-ramp, but still kind of sucked. So, I spent a month and a half or so taking care of that problem, and got it done in time to go drag racing up in Anaconda, Montana, for the Idaho vs. Montana drag race, which is a yearly deal, and it's a blast. It's one of my favorite things to do. I did that because, unfortunately, at the end of 2023, I guess we could call it the local drag strip up in Idaho Falls, which is Sage Raceway, closed. It was for sale and had been for sale for a little while, and Terry, the owner, had expressed no interest in continuing to run it. So if it didn't sell, it got sold, which I get. I understand. So we went a whole season almost without it. Well, luckily, some guys, some awesome guys, we met them, came in and bought the track, and we started racing in September. Yeah, September. Anyways. So we went the whole season autocross racing, racing the Miata, and the very last autocross event for our region here in Pocatello, again with the EIR, I was able to just take out the Camaro and go have fun, and it was my very first time autocrossing it, or even any kind of driving like that with it, and it was on the all season, so I just didn't really expect anything out of the car. I was more just having fun. So I gave rides every single run, and it was so greasy with the all seasons that I just ended up basically just drifting all over the place. So it was a when in doubt, throttle out kind of time, and just had a whole bunch of fun.
You can slowly start walking back. You can slowly start walking back. Slowly.
So now that it's January, we're middle of January, and I've actually gotten back to my little S10, and so I'll have that in the next video, or maybe I'll include this. Maybe I'll do this as a whole recap plus here's what's going on with the S10 kind of thing. So I'm super excited for it. 89 green, single cab, short bed, two-wheel drive. I've had it for I don't know how long. It's been a project since I was in high school. It's the third one. It's a long story. Maybe I'll get into that someday. So the fun part is I was able to drag it home yesterday. It's been sitting in my buddy's field for probably 4 years now. Yeah, I put a winch on my trailer. You'll see in the S10 video that I cut the tire rack off because it's kind of in the way, but I'm going to build a new one where it's removable, fairly easy, so it's easier to get things on the trailer and work on them instead of having to scoot them back to get the hood opened up enough. So here is kind of my really crappy freehand sketch with colored pencils of kind of how I want the Camaro to look. I'm going to be racing in the cam class with SCCA, as well as some street stuff too as it comes about. I don't really want to get into a whole lot of details, but per SCCA regulations, the splitter can't extend more than 6 inches forward and can't be wider than the bodywork, and the rear diffuser also can't extend 6 inches rearward, and that's viewed from above the vehicle. So, and it's just kind of like a quick rendering. I kind of have all the parts and everything planned out. It's a stock LS1. It's got 177,000 miles and 6-speed with a new clutch, new rear end, all that good stuff. I've got a set of 243 heads for it, and I'm going to do a Holley Sniper dual plenum cross ram intake. Super cool, super trick. Probably going to go with 102mm throttle bodies and just do cable driven because the car's cable driven. And it's kind of cool. Run-of-the-mill BTR Stage 3 cam, probably some speed engineering, inch and 7/8 headers into an X-pipe, and the X-pipe exit will be like where the exhaust exits is going to be part of the diffuser, just because I think it'll look cool. It's kind of just a look and sound kind of thing, but it should work pretty good. Hoping for 400 wheel horsepower, 400 foot-pounds torque. Don't really care as long as it's within 10-15% of that number, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a fun little autocross car. I did lower it. You'll see in a couple of the pictures in the in the reel it goes by. Lowered a couple inches. It's on KYB adjustable shocks and struts. and Ibox Sportline wheels. Cross-drilled slotted front rotors, Power Stop Z26, ceramic brake pads, nothing special. It's just kind of plain Jane, but it's fun to drive. When it's nice outside, I drive it every day. There's snow on the ground now, obviously, so I'm driving the truck around, but yeah, it'll be a good time. I kind of was planning on doing a lot more out of region races, but I think this year, just because I'm building the S10, it's a lot of money to build 2 race cars. Actually, it's an astronomical amount of money, but it's worth it. So because of the amount of money that I'm spending on both vehicles, I'm just probably going to focus on local races just to enjoy the car, not have to spend a whole lot of money traveling out of state, because it's $1,000 to $1,500 almost every time we go out, between fuel and food and lodging, entry fee, plus maintenance on the truck and trailer and wear and tear on the car. It adds up. Last year spent a little over $25,000 with very minimal sponsor support. This year I haven't pursued any sponsor support, mainly because I'm building the vehicle, building the S10, and I kind of just, I don't know, I kind of feel bad. I don't really want to ask for sponsors. Moving forward, I'm not going to do anything with the Camaro this year other than just drive it. When winter hits and when I've got the S10 done, I'm going to get the Mighty Max done. So the plan is by the end of the year to have all 3 of my projects running and driving, and that's never happened before in my life. And I think that's actually really hard for any car person to say that, hey, all my projects run, when you have more than one. So yeah, that's kind of where the car is at right now for the season. I'll add in a handful of pictures and stuff from the last couple years worth of racing. And another thing I want to touch base on real quick too is the South Hills Raceway and Pocatello Car Club this year put together a street drag out on Fortune Street out by the Pocatello Airport, and it was an absolute blast running my dad and brother's big tire back half 79 Camaro. It's pretty wild when you're racing on the street legally. Never done that before, so that was kind of a trip. Usually it's a little hush kind of thing, so it's a lot of fun. What's even more wild is holding the car during the burnout, because there's a road crown, right? So the car just wants to slip and slide all over. So I had to hold my hand against the quarter panel, push it, and stick my hand up inside of the wheel well and pull it at the same time just to keep it in the same spot. And it's pretty wild because I actually got several cuts on my hands from the body work being pretty sharp apparently. And when that big tire is just, I could feel the edge of the tire on the hairs of my hand. It was so much fun. We got my whole family out there, and little brother went to the semifinals and lost in the semifinals, but man, it was just a blast. Racing our race car on the street. I hope we can keep doing it. Hope it comes back, and we'll be there every time. But nice thing too, with Sage being back running full steam, I'm hoping that by end of April I'll have the S10 running and driving. I'm kind of following Freiberger in his words of wisdom, and it doesn't have to be right, it just has to drive. I think he says it doesn't have to be right, it just has to run, but I want this thing driving too. Kind of the plan moving forward. with the YouTube channel is I'm gonna try and upload every couple weeks. Maybe I'll include my everyday today shit too, whether it's with work or play or whatever. Maybe do like a weekly upload on Sunday. But I'll try and do at least every couple weeks now as I go through the whole S10 build process. Yeah, so just stay tuned and I'll post up updates. We're going to be on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Now that it's back, that was a whole fiasco for 12 hours. Facebook, and we'll go from there. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Sorry it's been a couple years, and for the 6 of you that's going to see this, then super appreciate you checking in, and see you next time.